Ooh, new sound. Whoops. Let's start fresh here. How we doing, traders? It's Friday night. Welcome to the live stream. Don't ever make excuses for how you really feel. Let's get to it. Ooh, light. Okay, can't see it. Light. And then I came back and I said I had a good idea. And that idea was to make a 10-second countdown so I can hit that button when I finally sit down and ready. Even if I'm late, don't have everything, quite ready, at least I'll be able to hit that 10-second button so you guys will know that we're about to actually go live if you're sitting here waiting. So kind of something I'm going to do. Let me write that down. 10-second countdown. It's the final countdown. All right. You guys got sound now? You should. Okay, cool. I can see it in my OBS, so definitely didn't check to make sure I turned that on beforehand. So, and then I was going to say, let's jump right into it. So our first trade of the day was on TGI. Let's go take a look. I really liked this trade, and I really liked my OXY trade. The only thing I didn't like about the OXY trade, I will talk about, but as you can see here, jumped up right out of the gate. I felt like we were a little bit early when we entered this, but it was a pretty good move. And I told myself if it wanted to go up through 12, we'd add. That was right when I got into it. That was what I said to myself. If we go up through 12, I'm going to add. And as you can see, we got right to 11.99. So I didn't get my add, but it came back down. We scaled out of this thing exactly according to plan, and I was pretty happy with it. This thing did end up falling over down to that previous resistance, which if you guys watched the recap video today, you saw me kind of emphasize that a little bit. OXY, this one was pretty much same ordeal. Previous resistance, had a nice push up through. Finally got that nice candle that we were looking for, right? Like, see all these candles? They're all kind of the same size, and then we finally got that nice squeeze breakout candle. That's when we jumped in. Looking for that $half, whole dollar area. And as you can see, it did poke through there and got up to 1969. And then it came back down. And we were doing the same scale out, right? If this thing would have dropped down to that previous resistance, we would have took it there. And this was the only part that I didn't necessarily like. Let me try to make this chart a little bit more readable. So what happened here is we jumped in, we started scaling out, and I was looking for my final 10% to get down here towards that previous resistance right here. What ended up happening is we set kind of a bounce high here at 1922, and then it tried it again, and then it started to try to pull back, and then it came up and went higher. So right there could have easily have been a stop, and it probably should have been a stop, but I still kept it at high of day. But it really didn't make sense to be in it past this point because the odds are it's going to do exactly what it did. And it could have went high a day and continued like it ended up doing throughout the rest of the day. But thankfully, it stopped before high a day, came back down, tested that previous resistance, used it as support. And then as you can see, throughout the rest of the day, all it did was go higher. Let's scroll back out. There you go. Look, in the after hours, this thing ended up closing at 2270. And we played it all the way down there at 1950. So we got lucky we didn't stop out. It was just 10% of our position. But like I said, we should have been stopped out even before that at that 1922 area. So we got lucky on that one that it did come back down and give us the rest of that. But wasn't too happy with myself because I really do think in hindsight we should have stopped there. But we still did follow the plan nonetheless. But as you can see, the rest of the day, this thing just was trucking along. Then we grabbed one last trade a little bit later in the morning. We actually started it at 10:37, and it was on GCI. So this one was just a pain in the butt. I wasn't mad with the first entry. We liked the extension away that we had here. Previous resistance down here at 250. And we got the jump up there. We jumped in under the $3 area, and we were feeling the move as it continued because we jumped in and it didn't really stop. It just kind of went through 3, kept kind of pushing all the way up to 330, and it still felt like it had more in the tank. It didn't like kind of hit and then kind of struggle to go higher. It just hit 330, and then somebody just smacked that thing, and it just just came straight down. So we didn't even get a chance to add on the way up. It was one of those ones where you would have had an order out there or just kind of guessed before that order happened. And it was just one of those ones where you couldn't get an ad. It happens. But when that does happen, it immediately, if you entered early, puts you in a bad spot, because now your average is still down here under 3, and you had that move all the way up to 330 and you missed all of it. So since it was a big smash down, people tried to buy it up real quick, buy the dip. And so it started to come back up. And then we switched up our strategy because we missed it. So I completely started bombing this trade just because I let my emotions get to me because of what happened there. And so when we got the opportunity, we saw this support forming here at that 290 area, 292, and it started to head back up to 3. And we said, okay, this thing isn't done. Obviously, it keeps hitting support here. There's some buyers stepping in. So we just took it off right before it jumped back through 3 at 299. So I wasn't too upset about the exit there, because we'd at least read the price action right as it was happening, because as you can see, it did go high of day. It did end up being a fake out, but you obviously don't know if that's going to be a fake out. This thing could have easily have went through 350 and continued up to 4 or 5, whatever, right? We don't know what's going to happen. So that was my 3 trades today. Let's go take a look at the overall week, shall we? Thomas, what's up, man? How's vacay? Hopefully you're not getting these crazy storms. We're getting some crazy storms right now. There it is. The previous resistance, in most cases, sure, is from the pre-market. And the only reason it's usually from the pre-market is because I'm trading so close to the market open. So like on GCI, it was not. All it is, if we zoom in here, you'll see it comes up, it forms a top, tries to pull back, and then comes up, and this was resistance before, right? And we plowed through it. So that is the previous resistance. But if we go to TGI, you can see it's the first, we got in on the first candle, so we don't really have a previous resistance inside intraday. So we have to go into the pre-market. So as you can see, I was using this right here because we had a top here, tried to pull back, and then we came up and it tried to kind of top there again a little bit above that before finally taking off. And I think OXY actually gave us a decent one in the pre-market. Yeah, so you can see there was one here. It was actually, I guess, the low from today. Yeah, so it came down. That would be interesting to see. Well, I guess it just came down from the pre-market and touched it before going back up. But so what happened here is you had the resistance, comes back up, goes through, and in the pre-market, it actually did that exact, what I always talk about, where it goes through resistance, comes back down, touches it as support before continuing. So when we opened this up, we saw this previous support from the pre-market. So when it came up to that, you see it makes a nice move through, squeezes, pushes through, and then we enter, and we are ultimately looking for it to come back down and test that resistance area, use it as support before it either wants to continue fading or doing what it did, which is continuing to go towards the higher side pretty much all day. You had that crazy drop off midday around lunchtime, and then ever since then, people bought that thing back up, and look at it now. So pretty interesting stock, but you see this happen all the time. But again, we're not looking for that overall trend like a lot of people are. We're just looking for those nice quick moves. Had one today that ran us in for a couple hours. Oh, gotcha. You're at the beach though. You're at the beach though. You're at the beach though. So it's all good because you're at the beach though. But okay, let's see. That's right. Let's go over the week. So let's full screen. I should have fixed this. Yeah, there we go. I like it. It looks a lot better this way. Okay. So guys, since we started the 112, absolutely annihilating it. We have one loss, and it shouldn't even have been a loss. If you guys remember, when we took this car trade, we took off 50% on that first drop, where if we would have took 75% off on that first drop and we only had 25% of our position left, this would have been a winner. So we'd be sitting at 100% if we didn't make a mistake there. But I mean, 96.43% is nothing to laugh at. So people, you see this 105.5615 profit factor. That's just disgusting. People say all they want to have is, like a profit factor of 2. Obviously, this isn't sustainable, right? You throw a decent sized loss into this. Like, let's say, just real quick, let's do the math. Like, let's say we just had a $50 loss on our next trade. So that would give us our gross. I can just take 350 or add. No, right. Okay. So our gross wins is 365.97 plus 350. So that's our gross wins. And then if we took a loss of 50 plus 350, 53.50. So we would divide those two. So it would go from 105.5615 down to 6.9054, which is a huge jump, but 6.9 is still nothing to shake at. And then again, if you throw like another $50 loss in there right behind it, then you're talking like a profit factor of around 3. So I'm just saying, I'm not getting cocky, but I'm just saying we're on a little bit of a hot streak at the moment. So anytime you can look at your overall P&L and you can get it to only go up, I'll be pretty happy with it. So looks pretty nice at the current moment. Other than that, I don't really have anything too crazy going on. When was the start of the week? It was June 1st. So PK was our first trade. The one that we all, let's just take a look. I know today was the first day where I felt like I followed my plan and it felt normal. So I was pretty happy with myself. So PK, I remember this one. We kind of read the price action. It didn't feel like it wanted to drop, just like the one from today on GCI. And again, we were right here. So at least we can come back and look at our charts and realize that we are reading the price action pretty well. Let's go. Is this the right way? June 1st. Yep. Okay. So this was another one we didn't follow our plan, NVGS. We jumped in this one, didn't scale out. We just took the whole thing for some reason. Not exactly sure why. Especially because you can see, again, look, previous resistance, and it went through, popped up, almost top ticked the thing, and for some reason we just took the whole thing there for whatever reason, and previous resistance was obviously touched, and this one actually looks like it tried to fade the rest of the day. BZUN. This one was a little bit better, I think. Why did I say... I put I did not follow my plan here. Let's see why. I've been a little lazy on writing things in my journal lately. 1770. It looks like I followed my plan here. 75%. 60. Let's take a look. Oh, I remember. This is the one where I said I would have covered but I was busy trading VRML at the same time. Where when this came back against me, we would have stopped out high of day. So that's why I put I didn't follow plan. But after that, if this would have just went straight up from here, that would have looked like a beautiful trade. Right? We got a really nice ad right at the top. Comes down 75%, 60%, 100%, or well, 75%, 90%, 100%. So I was pretty happy with that trade, the chart itself. But we wouldn't have been in that trade. So then on to VRML. This was the money winner this week. And this was getting full size on a smaller price stock that had some oomph to it. We started this thing around 5 and it shot up through 550 and we got both of our ads in there. And this thing absolutely dumped right after and it was a beauty. So I was pretty astounded with this one. And we followed our plan, got our entries 75%, 90%, and then 100%. And as you can see, we timed that price action pretty well. We could feel that bottom kind of forming there around that 480 area. And as you can see, it bounced pretty much all the way back up the high of day. Nice descending triangle actually formed there. Probably could have seen that if we stayed on it for later. But again, I usually don't stick around looking for those after we get a nice trade on them. In the future, I probably will. But while we're building the account, I will definitely I just noticed I didn't add that to the other trades where we followed that. Let's see. So I've been trying to keep track of these. I call it 75, 60, 100 in the journal because technically that's the hot button I'm hitting, 75%, 60%, 100%. But if you look at my position size, it goes from 100% to 75% to 90% to 100%. So I could have did 75, 90, 100, but I just did it based off of my hot buttons. This was the other one. Okay. Then everyone before this, we did not. Oops. Be quicker to come out this way. And then SPR. Oh, didn't mean to click that. See, SPR, top ticked it. Looks like we did. Did I put in that we followed our plan? Because it looks like we did. Yep. Okay. So we followed our plan here. Just kind of sucked. We put a trail in on this one. I remember this one now. Yeah, we put the trail in and it squeezed up against this. Probably should have used this area up here over this candle. Would have been the smarter move. But in hindsight, obviously, hindsight's 2020. Leave it there. Not a bad trade. VERI says we followed our plan. Looks like we got stopped out on this one. Oh yeah, this was our first trade on Interactive Brokers. Cover 75%, stop at or at high of day on the rest, and because we obviously didn't get a breakdown any more than what we got, and we stopped out. So can't complain there. KZR looks like we did not follow our plan here. So, oh yeah, this is the one where we got the bad fill on the entry and the first cover. I remember this one. It was the same price too. And yeah, I remember even GDT watching his video. He traded KZR as well. When he tried to get his fill at 920, at least he thought he was getting 920. He also got the jump back up to 932, which is where we both got that fill. So I remember that being a little frustrating. And then we ended up just taking the whole thing off instead of scaling out a little bit more. I do remember my reasoning was that I thought we were close to that previous resistance, but we weren't. It was all the way down here at closer to 8, and we took that off at 9. So in hindsight, a little mad at myself. Definitely let my emotions get to me on that one. Yeah, see, bad fills on entry and first cover, so I ended up taking the rest the first chance I got. Let's say I usually do write little notes, and then these are the ones from today. So just real quick to go back. We're looking good, guys. Ever since May 8th when we started doing the 112 again, everything's feels normal again. We're very focused. We're very keen on doing everything correctly. Let's say why is May 7th in here? It says May 8th. Let's re-put it in there. May 8th. I'll probably end up changing this again for whatever reason, but there we go. So again, since we started the 112, we're looking pretty good. So, and even if we went back an extra day when we weren't doing the 112, we were still looking good. So can't complain. I didn't follow my plan on Monday and lost 76.56, and the rest of the week I followed my plan and finished in the green exactly. And the more that happens, the better off you are. The more you lose because you didn't follow your plan, and then you realize when you do follow your plan, you're doing just fine. It makes a world. It's like an aha moment. You finally get that aha moment in your head to the point where you can finally start following your plan all the time. And real quick, just to show you guys. We've went over this so many times, but looking at my chart, you will see, actually, let me change it to February 8th it's so convenient that I chose the 8th. I didn't do it on purpose, but it just kind of happened. But February 8th of 2019 is when we started trading the 112 with ISW to begin with. And I want to show you guys, if you haven't seen this before, I was doing so well. I just didn't have my risk management under control, and I would let, it was really just 2 trades out of, I'm going to look, where's the total trades? 473 total trades. And look at the P&L curve, right? And then look at the cliff just from one trade. Let's turn it into a line chart. It's a little easier to read. One trade, we lost around $1,000. And then over here again, we took a month off to try to not to let this happen. Plus, we kind of blew up our account for the most part. Because within all this, you got to remember, even though we're going up and up and up, when you come back down, it looks like we're at break even again. But when you consider all the commissions and platform fees and all that stuff combined, when you are back at zero, technically, you're not, because of all of those fees and stuff. So we were actually pretty close to blowing up the account when this happened. But as you can see, we took a month off, we added some money back, and we started to climb again, right? And then we felt like we figured out why this happened. One trade took us down like this, and we said, okay, all we gotta do is just not let this happen again. If we have a loser, we just have to have a little blip in the radar like this. And as you can see, we were doing pretty good with that. We hit a little bit of a dry spot in the market, where maybe it just wasn't aligning with our strategy. Maybe something was mentally going on. I don't know. But as you can see, we were doing really well. And then all of a sudden, we started to kind of go a little sideways. We were getting losers a little bit more frequently, so it was hard to kind of keep up with it. And I think when we finally started going up again, we were like, okay, we finally broke out of whatever was going on. Let's scale up a little bit. So it was like the second day scaling up, and then we ran into LYV. This was MTSI. This was LYV. And this was like a $700-800 loss. And I don't know, it really mentally got to me, because I had told myself I was never going to let MTSI happen again. I was never going to let one trade wipe out all of that work that I'd put in, just months of profit just gone in one trade. And I kind of did it again, right? You look at if we go from here to over there, so about mid-August all the way to about mid-December. So you're talking 4 months of profit just gone in one trade. And that's unacceptable, right? That's completely unacceptable. And over here, same thing, March to May. So it was about 2.5 months. You can't do that, right? So it really shook me. I was like, man, something's obviously not right here. If I can't figure out how to not give back all those profits in one trade, to me, this isn't going to work. So pretty much from that LYV trade all the way until May 8th, when we started trading this strategy again, is me trying to figure out a new strategy. And just look at this craziness. This was a crazy part of my life, or trading career. So about 5 months, basically, trying to figure out a new strategy, something that has better set risk, just all kinds of different things. And obviously I couldn't figure anything out. And so I said, you know what? That was just 2 trades out of the hundreds that I took that I messed up on. I didn't follow the rules. It had nothing to do with the strategy or the market, nothing. It was because I didn't follow the rules within those trades. And I did this, I think that it was last Friday or maybe 2 Fridays ago, where if I would have followed the strategy and I would have cut where I was supposed to, I technically would have a line way up here, right? It would not have been $1,000 loss. It would have been like a $200 loss max, right? And we'd be way up here, and then we're climbing from there on this move. We don't take a month off. We don't almost blow up our account. We don't do any of that, right? We just keep trucking along. And then when LYV comes along, we're like way up here now, right? Instead of all the way down here. And when LYV happens, maybe if we are disciplined enough, that doesn't happen either. If we cut LYV where we were supposed to, again, this would have been like a $200, $250, maybe $300 loss, because it did kind of go against us pretty quickly. And it was a very tough trade, but it still gave us an opportunity to get out at a certain point where we would have only lost 250, 300 instead of 700, 800, right? 2x what we could have lost. Maybe even 3x, depending on where we actually could have got out. I don't remember. I'd have to go look at the chart. But again, that could have been way up here. So it was 2 trades. And look how emotional I got over it, because I couldn't figure out that it wasn't the trade itself. It wasn't the rules. It wasn't the strategy. It was me. I broke the rules. So there's nothing wrong with the edge that I'm using in 112. There's nothing wrong with the strategy itself. I just broke the rules. So it finally clicked in my head one day. I was like, you know what? It was me. I broke the rules. You're an idiot. Just don't break the rules and go back to doing what you're doing. It obviously worked. So that's what we're doing, right? We're finally there. And as you can see right here, May 8th, it's looking pretty good so far, right? We got to get back, if this was a stock chart, we got to get back up to this 730 area, which we're at 7. Oh, we actually went through it. So today we went through that resistance. Now we just got to break out, go up there. We got a double top up here, and then we got to consolidate maybe for a little bit, and then we'll go higher, and we'll keep on trucking. But yeah, this is my trading journey since we joined ISW using the 112 strategy. And like I said, in here from January 1st all the way up until May 8th, definitely tried a bunch of strategies that weren't 112, but they're part of my journey. So it was definitely an interesting 4 or 5 months. But hey, I wouldn't be where I am today if I didn't try those things, because I'll always wonder what could have happened. What if, all those questions that go through your head when you're, thinking about what if I would have tried this strategy? Well, guess what? I did, and it didn't work. So let's move on. Time to move on. All righty. Jonathan, what's up, man? I didn't follow my plan. That's definitely what I did. Speaking of Jonathan over there at Circuit Coin, we will be doing a circuit giveaway. Not exactly sure how much I'm going to give away, but it'll be part of the 2K subs giveaway that we're doing. We'll figure it out. I don't know if Jonathan wants to participate in that, but I'll have to give him a shout. But yeah, definitely look forward to that. Just wanted to mention that since he's joining us. So it does look like we do have a few less people jumping in here, but it has only been about 27 minutes. Kind of want to turn my fan on a little bit. But yeah, if you guys have any questions, feel free to jump in. I don't really have too much to talk about tonight. Everything's been kind of business as usual. I do have an update on the family side of things. The 15th, which I believe is Monday, right? Let's check. Yep, the 15th, my kids will be going back to daycare. The little one is also going to be going Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So things are going to be a little bit better for me focus-wise. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, we'll have no kids in the house. It's going to be very bittersweet, because as much as it'll be nice to kind of start to get back to normal a little bit, I definitely don't want my kids to go back to school. As much as they annoy the crap out of me, I love being around them every single day. It's so nice to be able to just turn around, and it's impossible for them not to put a smile on your face. So it's always one of those things where it's very bittersweet, because he benefits so much. I'm talking about Braden, my oldest, from going to school. He loves going to school. He loves his friends at school. He loves the teachers. And it's one of those things where I know it's the best. And I know we're to the point now where we have to get our youngest there as well, because I know he would benefit. But obviously, I'm like a mother hen. I don't want them to get too far away from the nest. But yeah, I'm trying to. That's what we can do. We can update this for next week. And I want to see if I can add a button or add a row. Where will it add it? Let's see. One. See, I wish you could drag these. Edit. I wish there was a way to. That's the one bad thing about the hot buttons, is you can't just put them where you want. Now, for the buttons, you can do it. Like, you can add a button to a row. Like if I wanted to, add button. So I could add a button to the row, but I can't add a row underneath, which sucks. It always just goes to the bottom. But I'm thinking about renaming this DT short, but that's probably for next week. I'm not going to get into that. Let me turn this fan on. It's getting hot here. Yeah, I wanted to cut the grass today, but I didn't even get the opportunity to do that. All right, let's reload this. Do you ever go long or just like shorting? I've gone long, but I usually only go long if there's no shorts of like presenting themselves. I feel very comfortable shorting stocks. I just feel like they work out much better. The human psychology behind trading helps the shorts work out a little bit better versus the longs. You'll hear a saying in the ISW community that we say longs take longer, because it takes people a lot longer to realize that the long should work no differently than the short. But unfortunately, that's just not how it works. So that's why they take longer. That reminds me, I'll be doing a collab with Justin's Dimple while GDT's working. We'll be live in the garage. We're calling ourselves the Double Ds, the Dot and the Dimple podcast. Welcome. I love it. I thought about making myself a drink tonight, but kind of had a little bit of a headache. I didn't really want to make it worse. Okay, let's change these to 700. Oops, I forgot to change the name. I felt very comfortable this week. The only the only thing I was a little off with was the VRML trade. And I'm not exactly sure how I want to go about that. I was actually talking to Brian today about it. And basically what he said is when you're getting your ads, you basically manage the trade based off of that. And I was telling him, but I got up to where I was risking $100 at one point on VRML. And he said, well, are you risking $100 on all your other trades? And I really started to think about it. And yes, VRML, it moved a little bit faster. But if this trade on TGI went up through 12 and we got to add, let's do the math real quick. So we had 51 shares. Oops. So 51 at 1161. So if we go to 1161, so that would be, we'll just say we got our ad at 1201, which would make it 40 cents. So times 0.4. So that's 20.4 cents on those shares alone. So then if we were to add another 51 at 2101 and it went to, or 12, sorry, to 12, right? Yeah, 1201. So if it went to 1251 and we added another, right, this would be now 90 cents. So 51 times 90. And we would also have 51 times 40 again. Or no, it'd actually be 50, right? Because if we got in at 1201 and it went to 1251. So now we're risking, and that's without the third entry. Now say we get the two, like say we add the two part of our 112 over 1250, but then it continues to like 1275. So now we took 102 shares at 1251 and it goes to, we'll say 71, so 20 cents times 20. So that's another 20.40, but then we have to add 20 cents to each of these. So 51 times $1.10 now, and 51 times 70 cents. So then we add those together, and we're at 112.20. So in reality, we are always risking about the same amount per trade, which seems at the 600 divided by price area was around $100 on some good moves. So I guess in reality he's right. But we're pretty good at top ticking, so technically we're not getting those full returns on any given trade. But if you can keep a win percentage like we are at almost 97%, you're going to be able to withstand those, especially if you can get full size on a trade like VMRL and absolutely annihilate the thing, right? If you guys remember real quick. Ammo. I hate when it doesn't give me that little corner. There we go. So on VRML, so when you do get these full size trades, right, we were never risking more than $109.74 on this, but we ended up making $143.42. But it's the only trade where we got full size like we did, right? So let's actually, this should be actually pretty good. This is what I love about keeping a journal, because you can really go through and define everything. You can look at your statistics. So let's look at everything where we have 2 entries and see what we were risking. 2 entries, we were risking 44.50. Now keep in mind, the way that we're risking, like let's take a look at GCI. This one actually ended up being a pretty bad one, right? Because we only made $2, basically break even, but we were risking 45, right? Yeah, 40. Yeah, basically 45. When a stock goes through your area and you get an ad and then it keeps going, technically your risk is up there. But if you basically top ticket, your risk is going to be less, right? Because you're getting almost the perfect ad. But that's what you want, right? You want it be to the point where you're getting good entries so that your risk is not that high. So real quick, let's look at all of our 2 entries and see what we were risking at any given time. So GCI, we were risking 44.50. 2 entries, 21.08. And real quick, let's take a look at BZUN's chart and see if the math would have played out. And that's the other thing too, is when it's a little bit of a high, well, this wasn't a higher price stock, so it doesn't even matter. For some reason, I thought it was. Oh, it was. We made 15, but it was. So we get less shares. So that's the only other issue, is we get less shares when it's a little bit higher of a price stock. So we would need it to move a little bit more because of that. But as you can see, we basically top ticked that thing. So we didn't have it extend through our second entry to really make us risk more than we had to. So we made 15, but we were only risking about 21.08 there. But obviously, that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to take a look and see if it continued where it would have been. So we took 17 shares. So let's do the math real quick. Who loves math as much as I do? What's up, Dario? Dario? I like doing that better than the eyes, because my hands are not very flexible. I can't do the eyes that well. Okay, so our first entry, we'll just kind of spitball it here. So 33.50, 17 shares. So we're sitting at $5.70 risk, and then our second entry, we'll say it was at like 35.30. It looks like. So 35.30 times 0.17. But at that point, we went up basically a point. So this would actually be 33. Wait, what kind of math was I doing there? That was not right. So 17 shares, and then we're doing the cents. So went up a point, so that would be $17. We already know that, right? And then we basically top ticked it. So we didn't really add too much risk. As you saw, it was only $21. So we added like $3 risk. But if this would have continued, and let's say it went up another point. So now this would be times 2. We would add 17 from the second entry, and then we would take 34 shares at, say, that 35.50 area, and then say that went like an extra 30 cents. So an extra 10. So then you would add 30 cents to each of these times 0.3 times 2. So you add 10, so 51 plus 20. So we're risking probably $70-ish on this one. So, and obviously it's never going to be the same when you're using a calculation like this, but it is pretty close, right? So if that would have continued and we got our final ad and it did go a little bit more than that, we would have been risking upwards of around $70. So again, it does seem like it's playing out pretty well. It just so happens that the one time that we got full size on VRML, it happened to just be one of the bigger movers, and it happened to be a bigger number. So I think it was just a coincidence, and it kind of looked out of place. But in reality, when you have such a high win rate like this, you're going to stack up a lot of smaller winners per se. But here's what I like to say to everybody. These smaller winners, over time, as long as you can keep your losers in check, add a 0 to these, right? $20, $96, $100, $30, $60, $100, $1,043, $150, 69, 28, 42, 125, 152, 70, 60, right? That's just 1 0, right? That's all you got to do. You just scale it. Today was a perfect example of me attempting to trade how I would trade regardless of my size. I watched a YouTuber today where GCI is a bad example. Hence I put in there, I did not follow my rules, but I watched a YouTuber today and he said he normally trades on a big account, but he's doing a small account challenge, which don't even get me started. But, what I'm getting at, I don't understand why anyone would go from trading a big account and purposely trade a smaller account. Like, it just doesn't make sense to me. Why would you downgrade and make less money on purpose? Just for the sake of what? For YouTube? Like, come on. The whole reason we're all here is to make money. You don't trade the stock market for any other reason. You don't trade the stock market to come on YouTube and teach others how to trade. If you can help others learn how to trade and avoid some mistakes along your journey of getting to a bigger account and making real money, so be it. That's exactly what I'm trying to do. But if you're already trading a big account, for you to come back down and trade a smaller account just to relate to all of your viewers, no, come on. That doesn't make any sense to me. But anyways, I went the wrong way. The system I have in place now, let's look at TGI. TGI is the best example. If I could get, Oxy's fine too. If I can get every chart to look like this, I would be completely fine with it. Oxy is not the prime example because I told you guys I would have probably cut that here, but even so, I would have been fine with that. But if I can continually, I have a system. I enter the trade, and then I look for a good spot to take out 75% of my position, and I try to work the rest of that 25% of my position down towards that previous resistance. That's the strategy. It's that easy. I try to find a ticker that's right off the scanner. That's all I use. I use the Intensity Stockwatch scanners. All of my plays come right off of it. It's amazing. Since February 8th of 2019, I have not traded one stock that has not come off the Intensity Stockwatch scanner. That is a lie because I've taken some from the chat room that people brought up and I was like, oh, this looks good, but it was not right off the scanner. And I'm pretty sure I am over on every single trade I've taken that was not off the scanner. So I stopped doing that. That wasn't even that long ago where the last one I did, I lost again. And I was like, okay, I'm not doing that anymore. Stop it. It's like a bad addiction. But as you can see, previous resistance. This, I'm telling you guys my strategy. This is my strategy in a nutshell. It's super not complicated. So look for previous resistance. Look for a squeeze through. Look at all these green candles down here, and like this candle here, and like this one. Let me pull out the little marker so I can show you guys what I'm looking at. Am I still full screen, by the way? I don't even have my OBS up. Hopefully you guys can't even see. Oh, you can. Okay. That works. But let me go full screen. It'll be a little easier for you guys to see. Okay. So this candle here, and really that's it, right? Those are the two biggest candles. So you can see those candles, and then look at the candle that we jumped in on, right? If you want to lump this candle kind of into one, these two candles, that was all like one pretty big move. But even if you just take this 1 2-minute candle, look at that candle versus all of these other green candles. And what do you see? It's bigger, right? That's what she said. But so what I'm getting at is you finally got, like, right, you push through that previous resistance, you're getting people pushing through, moving it higher, and then finally you get the people that were short. Okay, this isn't a fake out, right? They're finally realizing, okay, this isn't a fake out, so we got to cover our position, cut our loss. People realize this thing's squeezing. Let's buy, right? The FOMO starts coming in, and you get these kind of candles. Well, the stronger the move, the weaker the trend, right? I preach that all the time. Jump in, looking for this thing to correct itself, whether it's down to a moving average, whether it's down to another moving average called VWAP, whether it's down to previous resistance. It's most likely, high probability, going to reverse. It's just how the market works in most cases. It obviously doesn't have to reverse, but in most cases, it's a very high probability that it's going to reverse. Is it going to reverse right when we get in? I don't know. But the odds are it's going to reverse at some point. But when you start getting these high grindy type, look at these candles. They're all the same size. Grind, 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 grind. And then you finally get something like this, right? This big drop off. And you were asking me earlier, do I play long? If I were to play long, I'd be looking for opportunities like this one. Look at this huge intense move to the downside. And it goes right into a moving average, if you guys like moving averages. I actually rather things be either high of day and low of day. I just find the emotions behind those types of trades are a little bit better. Where in here, you're actually still kind of in a range, right? If you want to really, I can't draw lines on that. If you really want to look at it, technically, you're still in a range there. So when this dropped down, let's zoom in. That was a little too far. So you had the previous resistance here that it went through, comes back down, dumps into, let's get rid of most of these lines. It's too many. Why is it not letting me get rid of them? There we go. All right. So you got previous resistance here, kind of smokes its way through a little bit, and then you get this big dump, right? Well, guess what? That big dump is only back into this previous range, right? We had that previous resistance here, broke through, dropped down, came back down, tested it, went back up, tested it again, and then broke out, right? So now you got these two supply zones, 1850, 1970, right? Those are your two supply zones. Obviously, you had resistance, then support, and then you had resistance, and then and it was resistance again here before it broke through. So when this breaks back down into this range, you're right in the middle of this range. Well, guess what? If you're trying to dip buy just because it's an intense move, that could go badly, right? Because this thing still has plenty of room down to that next supply zone at 1850. Now, if this dumped all the way to 1850, I'd be all for trying to jump in this, especially if it kind of popped right through 1850. That would have been a beautiful move, and it'd be pretty hard not to go long there, right? And then if you look at what it did the rest of the day, that was all your sellers for the rest of the day. This thing was very bullish. I even mentioned that in the live trade from this morning, that this thing felt very bullish. It looked very bullish. We were just looking for our opportunity to get our money out of it and move on. But and obviously I can say it looks bullish. It doesn't mean it's going to be bullish the rest of the day. This thing could have faded the rest of the day. Who knows? Nobody knows. I mean, look at the SPY. The SPY is up at 320. Who in their right mind would have thought the SPY would be at 320 right now? But as you can see, you get that big move to the downside, and then this thing just kind of trucks away the rest of the day, right? Kind of gets back up there, consolidates, and look at it now in the after hours. I don't know if news came out or something, but it is kind of weird that the volume would pick up that late and then kind of move up almost 2 points there. So just very interesting how that plays out. But that's my strategy in a nutshell, guys. I mean, I don't really know any other way to put it. Let's look at the other one. I think it was TGI, right? Yeah. So TGI, same thing. We had that previous resistance down here. I don't really need to draw the line because it's low a day. That line's there. Get the pop up. I even said this in the live trade too. I felt like I was a little bit early. I was kind of jumping in because I liked the move that it made here. I was looking over at the 60 minute, which I always hate that for some reason when I pull it up over here, it does this. But if you see, I was looking at this, right? There was some really good resistance right there. I didn't want to miss this trade. I didn't want it to happen without me. So I jumped in saying if it wants to go through this and through 12, we'd look to get an ad and we'd be fine with it, right? Because we're at a pretty key level there. But unfortunately, it used that, as you can see, pretty much as resistance. It went a little bit higher, right up to the whole dollar. And that was that. And we scaled out of this thing 75, 90, 100. So I can't complain about that trade at all. The only thing that could have been better is we held this last 10% until previous resistance. It gave us no reason to get out of the trade. Besides the fact that it was our first trade of the day and we were just eager to find another trade. So we just kind of jumped out and we were a little impatient with it, where if we would have just waited, we could have got an extra, let's see, 1108, and we could have got down there towards 1060. So another 40 cents or so. So that's it. I mean, that's my strategy. I know you guys didn't ask what my strategy is, but it really is that simple. It's really just mastering the what ifs. Sticking to the rules, sticking to the plan, sticking to the strategy, sticking to your edge that you know can be consistently profitable, sticking to your risk management, right? There's a lot of things that are mental. It's all mental. I would say most of trading is mental. It's all emotional. If you can get to the point where you take your emotions out of the game, you'll be a solid trader. and I'm starting, I think, to finally get there. I think I'm not trying to gloat. I'm not trying to, sorry, I ate Indian earlier and it's like constantly coming up. It tastes really good though. But yeah, I think I even talked about it on the live stream, if I was getting some Indian food or not. I did get it. It was so good. But yeah, it's really just a matter of tackling your emotions. I do say it all the time. That if I had to add a number 3 thing to the things that I preach the most, number 1 is risk management. 2 is finding and being consistent with a strategy. And if I had a number 3, which we could add, it's managing your emotions. Because the quicker you can manage your emotions, you're good to go. Because you won't let your emotions get in the way. Like when you jump into back in the day, when I would jump in this trade, I would be at an 1161. The minute it kept going against me, even though my strategy is to add, right, is to get another add if I need it, my heart would start racing. Oh my God, this thing's going against me. What am I going to do, right? I immediately jumped into, how can I get out of this without losing money? That was my mentality. How can, okay, I took a stab at it. I was wrong. How do I get out of this trade without losing money? That was my mentality. However, now my mentality is, okay, keep going. I want to get that add. I'm going to bring my average up. I'm going to have more shares for when you finally do drop, and we're going to make more money, right? See how that's a huge difference in mentality? Going from, how do I not lose? Maybe just try to break even, to, go ahead. I want more shares. I want to make more money. That's a huge difference. And it's the same trade, right? It's crazy. Like that's the mentality shift that you have to find within yourself. You're going to be scared when you're trading. It's natural. You're putting money at risk, right? It's not like a normal job where you just go in, you work an hour and you earn money. You have to technically like win this money, and it's not that easy. I mean, it kind of can be that easy. It's just a matter of figuring out a system and keeping your emotions in check to do so. Yeah, sure, for sure. Yeah. A lot of people you're going to start out that way. And I'm almost 2 years into this, and I'm finally getting to the point where I feel like I'm getting past that point. So don't second guess yourself. If somebody is still new to trading, I can't recommend enough that you go back. Let's watch one together. This is something. Let me answer Jonathan's question as we're doing this, but let me pull this up here. No, don't do that. There we go. Okay. Who's leaving me stuff? See, I'm always trying to help out. Squirrel's another one I watch on YouTube. All right, let's see. Let's go back to one of my older videos. Let me catch up real quick while we're doing this. Would you ever be interested in day trading with a firm? You know, the only reason I would ever be interested in day trading with a firm is to learn. I don't think I would want to day trade for a firm in the long run because it's not my money. I would make substantially less money, and the pressure of actually performing is also there. I don't like knowing that every day I come to work that this would be like work, right? I know I treat it like work. I treat it like a business, but at the same time, I don't want to be forced to trade every single day. And I feel like when you go to these prop firms and stuff like that, you would feel that way. You would feel like you have to trade every single day, and you're trading with some pretty big size. It's just more pressure. I'd rather sit at home, wait for my perfect setups, use my own money, and just be done with it. So I do think there is some benefits because you get a group setting and you get to really learn from people that have been around the block a few times. But at the same time, I very much prefer to go the route of not trading with a firm. Yeah, trading can scare the F out of you. It's so true. It gets easier, Jack. It really does. It does get very easy. I'm not going to say very easy, but it gets easier and easier. Every single day that you trade, every day that you see the charts doing the same thing over and over again, it starts to become easier. It's just like any real job. You're never going to understand it the first day. You're never going to be perfect at it. You're never going to be really good at using the tools that you need for the job unless you've had previous experience with them. But every day that you use the same tools over and over again, every day you see the same scenario over and over again, every day you talk to the same person about the same things, it starts to get easier, right? So that's why companies want people with experience, because they've already done it. So it's no different with trading. If you're new to trading, you're not going to have any clue what you're doing. But the more and more you do it, and the longer and longer you do it, the more and more comfortable you get with it. The more and more your emotions won't get in the way. The more and more you just trade the chart. So always keep that in mind. This market volatility is awesome. Having my best trades day after day. Thanks to the guys from ISW as well for all the advice I got recently. And Constantine, I love Constantine. This dude journals better than anybody I know. I've said this so many times on the channel. But the one thing about Constantine is, and I'm pretty sure he'd be more than happy, because I think I know Constantine at this point, to openly show you that his P&L chart was kind of like this. And then we showed him the power of ISW. And it's been, I'm going to say for his trading career, I'm going to say it was life-changing. And I don't know, Constantine can correct me, but the difference in what I saw in his journaling before ISW to post ISW, and looking at the charts that he was showing me before ISW and looking at his charts now, it's literally a completely different person. You wouldn't even recognize him. It's pretty crazy. Yeah, Constantine is absolutely killing it lately. I'm so proud of him. And I knew from the moment that I met Constantine that he was one of those ones that had that work ethic where he was going to make this work. And he's doing just that. He's making it work. So very proud of you, dude. Seriously, definitely. I learned to handle pressure from being under the hot lights in my former adult movie career. After learning this, now the fear is jumping in long because 90% it's coming back down. Wait, am I reading that right, Timothy? After learning this, now the fear is jumping in long because 90% is coming back down. Well, right. Real quick before we watch an old video, but when you really think about it, any real trader that's been around for a while, if you see a candle like this, who's going to want to actually buy up here at $12, right? You'd have to be pretty silly to be the person buying shares up here at $12. The only people that are buying shares are people covering shorts because they're getting squeezed out. Should be. But if you have people FOMOing into this trade, they're the ones that aren't too smart, right? So that, you always have to think of the human emotions behind retail traders. And that's why I like to short more, but we can get into that a little bit more. Yeah, but Constantine, the drawdowns that you're fighting now are the exact same drawdowns that I was facing. Before ISW, you were facing just complete strategy overhaul drawdowns, if that makes any kind of sense. Like, you were finding a strategy that was consistent. That was a better way to put it. So when you found ISW and you found a strategy that was consistent, now the drawdowns you're facing are a completely different step in the process, right? You passed that finding consistently profitable strategy step that you were struggling with before, and now you're focusing on your emotions. You're focusing on all these other like little drawbacks just to fine tune your game per se, right? You're not focusing on just finding a profitable strategy at this point, which I think you can contest to that. The change he made was he just started kind of following what everybody else on ISW does. But yeah, Constantine, feel free to share your numbers as well. I know, and I'm pretty sure he'd be more than happy to kind of share his journal with you guys. I don't mean to put you out there, Constantine, but I know that Constantine loves to talk about trading. So I'm pretty sure he'd be more than willing. I think he posts on the ISW forums as well. If you are a member of ISW, whether it's Elite, Platinum, or part of the team, we do have forums where we can go, and I know he posts on there a lot. And I try to be on there as much as possible as well. But things have just been so busy lately. Once the kids are back in school, things will change. My win rate since we started doing the 112 right off of the intensity stock watch scanners again, as you saw earlier. Let me pull it back up. Oops, that's the wrong one. I think I still have it down here. Yep. Should be at 100%. Not to gloat, but should be at 100%. But I messed up the car trade, and it ended up being our one loser over the course of 28 trades since we started using 112 again. We're sitting at 96.43% win rate. So can't complain about all this green. We got one losing trade in there, which was completely my fault. I don't know if you guys just got here. Hey, Kim, what's up, man? Girl, lady, woman, what's up? But I was looking at the chart earlier, and if I was following my rules, I would have took 75% here. But when I had the 50% button, I hit the 50% button here. And so when I covered out the rest, this was 50% of my position, and it ended up making me red instead of a small green or break even. So technically could be 100%, but I'm not. I'm at 96.43%. Darn. We're doing well right now, so I can't complain. I had something else. Oh, the video. I wanted to show you guys the difference between me back then and now. Like, again, real quick, let's take a look at this TGI trade. Look at how we scaled out of this thing. Look at Oxy. Look at how we scaled out of this thing, right? See the beautiful scale out. And now let's go watch a video from when I first started trading with the 112. I believe CLF was the first trade. There, here we go. And in advance, I'm sorry for the poor quality. This was literally, I had no webcam, and I was using one of those little lav mics, and it was like a $20 lav mic that I'd bought for my GoPro. So real quick, let me pull up my little pen again. What do you guys see? The strategy itself still hasn't changed, right? We still have, I need to just buy that stupid thing. We still have a previous resistance, and we have a nice intense move through, right? We get short through the whole dollar, right? Nothing's changed. This is all the same strategy. All it is fine tuning it. It's holding on to winners, cutting losers, right? It's all the same principles. But look at what I did. I entered this thing above 12 on a very nice move. This thing clearly has room down here towards that 1165 area. We get the pop back through 12, and we took the whole thing off. 100% in, 100% out, right? We completely rob ourselves of all this extra possible profit. Yeah, of course, it could stop here, go high of day. Sure. But our entry was so good that even if we only take 75% right here, if it does go back high of day, okay, well, we still get a green trade. It's just a smaller green trade because our entry was good. But I think you guys can understand what I'm getting at. And this is any beginning trader. This happens all the time. This is what I used to do every single trade. But even then, it still worked because it was such a high win rate, right? I would pick the tops, get the drops, get the covers, right? Even though, look at this, that they're so close together. But then we come out and we look at something like, no, don't play it. We look at something like Oxy. Look at this. Look at the huge difference there. Waited for a much bigger drop, got only 75%, tried to scale out and tried to make the most out of our winner, right? We realize we're in a winner. We try to make the most out of it. Same with TGI. We didn't get an ad here, obviously, so our entry wasn't that great, but even still, we still got a nice drop, took out partial, and we made the most out of our money, right? We come back and we're looking for that previous resistance. That was the only bad thing, is we didn't wait for that previous resistance for the 10%. It's crazy. And I'm pretty sure you can roll through pretty much all of my old videos. But if you can go back and watch pretty much all of these videos from back when I first started trading. I really need to stop taking profits early. You hear me? So again, let's take a look at this one. It's the same thing. This is the whole beginning of my trading career. Look at this. Previous resistance. Get the entry through 5. I didn't even wait for the 5 break. I didn't even wait for the 5 break. And look, I knew it. Look at this face. Oh, you can't even see my face. I immediately knew that I messed up. And look at it. Right there is probably where I should be taking my 75%. Like if I'm reading the candle time and sales, you can feel that 90 kind of basing out. Take 75%. You're looking for the rest to come back down towards that previous resistance. So, I mean, guys, you're not alone. You're not alone. That's all. That's what I'm trying to get at here. All right. So that was the point I was just trying to get across. You're not alone. You got to start somewhere. Oops. Jack, all the progress for me came from working on myself, avoiding stupid errors, etc. Just concentrating on execution. Self-discipline is big. And like I said, yeah, earlier, strategy is not the hard part. I told you, emotions is 90% of this thing. Really figuring out yourself, figuring out who you are as a person is the big part of this. Trading in the Zone by Mark Douglas. If you're a little bit into your trading career and you understand how to trade, you got a strategy that works, but you keep taking profits early, stuff like that, go read or listen to Trading in the Zone by Mark Douglas. It will help you out tremendously. Sure, for sure. That looked like you, right? Yeah. But look, that was me. When I first started trading, that was me. I did the same thing. And look at me now. Look at me now. Look at me now. Constantine does trade a little bit differently than I do too as well. So that's why his win rate's a little bit lower. He takes more trades than I do. I nitpick. I nitpick these like perfect A+ setups, and that's like all I trade. But in reality, with a 70% win rate, Constantine could be making way more money than I am if we were trading the same size, because he's taking that many more trades, and 70% is a pretty solid win rate. Buck Naked, that was my stage name. Oh, you guys crack me up. But does anybody have any questions, comments, concerns? I just realized that I didn't change the hot buttons down here. I'm gonna do that while see if you guys have anything to talk about. I feel like that was a solid 40 minutes of just information. I like it. I don't really have, like I said, guys, it's been so busy around the house and stuff. I haven't really been able to kind of come up with topics per se for videos and whatnot, and just for the live stream. But again, the 15th, got to get to the 15th. Some days are scalp days, nothing follows through. I'm not sure, but I think those are consolidation days on the SPY. Those sideways days don't follow through. Do you agree? I mean, I watch the SPY throughout the day, but it's not to base my trades off of it. Jack, thanks for stopping by, man. Appreciate it. Hit that like button on the way out. Always appreciate the support. It's more so just to see what the market's doing. Most of the trades that I'm in don't typically trade with the SPY anyway, so I'm not usually worried about what the SPY is doing. But I don't know. A lot of stocks do tend to kind of go up and down with the SPY. Like if the SPY is having a good day, a stock might make a move that it wouldn't normally make, or if it's having a bad day, it might just consolidate. Again, in the retail industry, in the retail trading world, sometimes it doesn't matter what the SPY thinks. Like I've always told you guys this, it only takes one person. Like today on GCI, when this thing got up to 330 on this move here, it immediately just got shoved down. It was like a huge market order, just absolutely came down and smashed this thing. And guess what? There was nothing I could do about it because it happened so quick. You could tell it was just one big market order, and that was that, right? It only takes one person to stuff a trade that's moving to the upside like this. One person with enough money that can buy enough shares. That's all it takes. So if you're jumping in to a trade, you really, especially at our size, if you're watching me, the size that you're trading, I'm not saying you don't trade any kind of size, but even if you're trading like 5,000 shares, then something like this, this one candle, one 2-minute candle had 1.6 million shares. We're nothing. We're a freaking, not even a drop in the bucket. We're like a little raindrop. I don't even know what to call us. We're nothing, literally. You could trade 10,000 shares, 20,000 shares, and get in and out like it's nothing on a stock like this. And for a big trader to come in and hit this with a market order that big a size to make it to the point where it drops 20 cents like it did, that's all it takes, that one person. And Mark Douglas will teach you this. This is Mark Douglas, and Trading in the Zone was one of the biggest eye-opening things that I've ever had in the world of trading. Once you think you have trading figured out, go read that book and you will realize that you don't have anything figured out. He really opens up the mind process of everything. And that's one of the things he teaches and proves and shows you, that it only takes one person to change the entire outcome of what that stock's going to do for not only the next couple seconds, but for the rest of the day. There could be, when this thing gets over $3 or this 290 area, right? There could just be a buyer that steps in and says, I'm throwing half a billion dollars at this stock and we're going to hold this 290 area. Well, guess what? If they can't get through that 290 area, what's going to happen? People are going to realize it's not going through that 290 and it's just going to go up, right? That's just how it works. It only takes one person. The quicker you realize that once you hit that button to get into the trade, that you have no control. You have absolutely no control once you're in the trade of what that stock is going to do. And you realize that you're kind of just along for the ride at that point. You put yourself in a high probability position, but you have absolutely no control over what that stock's going to do after you're in the trade. It's that simple. And the quicker you can realize that you have no control, the better you are. Because then you realize, okay, all I can do is put myself in the best high probability situation with the best edge that I can find and try to work the numbers, right? Play the percentages. Be a casino. Don't go to the casino and play. Be the casino, right? That should be your mentality when trading. You want to be the casino. You want the edge. You want people to be coming to you and putting their money down, knowing that they're probably going to lose against you because you have an edge. You have the higher probability of winning, right? That's what you want. That's exactly what you want. Of course, your blue chips. You guys will always be my blue chips. I stopped saying that because, I don't know, it got to the point where I felt like I was being pretty cheesy with it. And I don't know. It was time for it to go. But you'll always be my blue chips. It felt right in the moment, but as we kept going, I decided to kind of ditch it a little bit. Be the casino. Feel the casino. You are the casino. It's actually really funny. Let me pull up my Plex. Show you guys something. The one of the last movies that I watched was Casino. I love that movie. It's like one of my favorite movies. By the way, Bad Boys for Life. It was good. Very good. I really enjoyed it. Anybody have any other questions? Ask away, guys. Last little dose of the stock market. You guys want me to take a look at some stocks? I love giving my informative opinion on any kind of stocks that some people might be in. I am not a financial advisor. I am not a professional stock trader. I'm not any of those things, but I love looking at charts. The more you look at charts, the more people ask questions and you don't know the answer, you're going to go find the answer and you're going to learn something. So that's kind of the whole point of this. Let's work together as a community, get one last little dose of the stock market in our brain before the weekend. We can chill out for the weekend and come back and hit it hard on Monday. Well, Kim, it's the scanners. You lost 600 during your 2 weeks on ISW. Well, what kind of strategy were you implementing with the scanners? Because that does play into it. Sorry, I noticed that my mic was probably topping out a little bit there, so a terrible strategy? Oh, you were hitting everything. I mean, yeah, just because the scanner... Now, it's funny because if you go on the forums, Brian will prove to you that if you take every single trade off the ISW scanner, when it hits the scanner at the alert price, and you risk 4% to make 2% on every single one of the trades, the P&L chart just goes up and up and up and up and up and up. It's pretty crazy. But you shouldn't be doing that, right? You shouldn't be using the scanners as like some kind of alert system, like a chat room or whatever. What you should be doing is, like you see me, I'll see an alert go off and then I'll pull up the chart and I'll wait. I'll wait for my setup after the scanner told me, hey, this thing's moving. So I'll pull it up. I'll look for key levels. I'll look for previous resistance. I'll look for extension away. Like, I'll look for maybe some key daily levels. I'll make sure I like the daily. Like today, I think Oxy was one I hated the daily, but I just really liked the move. Yeah, because Oxy was actually in a huge gap fill, but I love the move that it made, right? That big candle. I couldn't not take that trade. It was just, I saw it. That's my setup. Through previous resistance, huge candle, through a $0.50 key area. I mean, that's literally my trade parameters. Has plenty of volume. How can I not take that trade, right? If I'm going to lose, I'm going to be okay with it because that's my setup. I'm not going to trade it just because of hating the daily, because the daily really doesn't always have everything to do with an intraday trade, right? You're still going to get, I mean, as you can see, the gap fill on this is 26.27. So by end of day, it still kept filling that gap. But that intraday move that it made was all we're interested in, right? We got our little piece of the pie. We had a high probability setup. We took it and we made some money off of it. It's too fast. I didn't realize the blue ones were micro floats till too late. The free version has no float column. Yeah, the elite version does not have that. You should have had... I think back when you won it with me, there was no float column, period. And then I think when you won with GDT, I think you had the elite version because the platinum version has the float. My nose is like stuffy. Kim, I lost more in 2 weeks. Don't tell you anything. It took me 5 months to get break even. It took me over a year. I still feel like until we really started getting back into the 112, I felt like I wasn't even a break-even trader. And right now I feel like I can be a profitable trader as long as I stick to my plan. Had a great first week, so I went all crazy the second week. Kim, did we not just go through this? With showing you what happens when you get cocky. Remember the MTSI, LYV? That was exactly what happened. I was on like a 28 trade win streak, and then I ran into MTSI, and I was like, oh, I'm not going to lose. I've won 28 in a row. I'm going to make MTSI my thing. And guess what? It made me its thing. So yeah, always, you got to keep those emotions in check. That's where it gets you. No, yeah, that's the whole point of this channel, being real. Yeah, I had an awesome March and went bust after that. Still grinding up at about break even now. Ouchie, Constantine. Oh, I do remember that big trade in March. Wasn't it like one really big trade? Yeah, emotions in check is a huge must. I actually think I put the Mark Douglas audio. He did like a workshop. I want to say I put it in the education playlist. Let me see. Where is it? Here we go. Educational. Maybe. I actually have a ton in here. I didn't even realize I had all these in here. I should probably go through and refine all of these, to be honest. Yeah, I don't see it. Let's see. Mark Douglas. Trading Psychology. 104. Here it is. So their hour, basically, I think the last one's a little bit longer than an hour, but it's 4 videos. I'm going to put it in the chat. This is part 1. Go through, seriously. Watch part 1, get sucked in. Watch part 2, watch part 3, watch part 4. You'll be a different trader. If you're not one to sit down and actually read a book like me, I can't read. I hate reading. Go watch. This is basically a workshop of his book. It's basically the book in workshop form. Or you can just go listen to the audiobook. You can do that too. But that will absolutely change you as a trader. I mean, he just teaches so many emotional lessons. The psychology behind trading, it's just so good. Good, Constantine. I need to try to blow a bit of spear back. And we're back. Yeah, no problem, Tim. By the way, my name's Tim as well. Nice to meet you. Tim, this is Tim. Hi, Tim. Nice to meet you, Tim. I'm Tim. Anytime I see another Tim, and yes, my real name is Timothy. Yeah. Good old Timothy. Do you actually like being called Timothy? The only time I ever got called Timothy was when I was in trouble. That's why I don't really like it. Sorry, I was responding to a comment here while reading it. A little confused by the question. Yeah. Okay. Where were we? Nice to meet you as well. You also have a great name. You guys like the new logo, by the way? I don't know. You could see it in the Discord. You could see it on YouTube. Kind of like it. I don't know if it updated everywhere on YouTube just yet, but sometimes it takes a couple days. I just updated it last night, but I'm liking it. I've had some compliments on it, and I didn't even ask how people like it. This is actually the first time. Man. Do an advertisement video on what? On me? Or CMEG or ISW? I actually did one for ISW. Or Hey You. I like that. That's kind of what my wife calls me. You would think my name is just Hey around the house. It used to be Hey Babe, and now it's just Hey. That's just funny. I get called Timmy a lot, mostly by older people, like older generation. That always kind of throws me for a loop. The super old one with the orange bars. Oh, the moon one? Yeah, that one was, I don't know. That one was a little cheapish to me. It wasn't a bad one. Like, let me pull it up. I don't know. I liked it in the moment, but the more, I don't know, I just didn't like the overall concept of it. This one here. A lot of people didn't even know this because it was so small, but it was actually a picture of a moon behind it. And when we were designing this, the purpose for the moon behind it was because I love orange and black. Those are my two favorite colors. It kind of had a Halloween vibe to it, especially with like this little devil horn over here. So we put a moon behind it instead of just like a black screen, and it was kind of cool. Couldn't really notice that per se in the logo because it was so small, but yeah, that's what she said. Timothy's dot question mark. Oh, did I miss something? Yeah, I listened to Trading in the Zone my first year. It might be time to do it again. By the way, you should scoop up all those guys at beginner trading who now cannot get into TradeNet. Oh yeah, that's true. I've totally forgot about that channel, to be honest. I used to watch them here and there, but you could tell that, I don't know, he didn't seem very interested in becoming too much of a better trader, more so than he started to kind of market a little bit towards like TradeNet, and I really don't like TradeNet, so I kind of just stopped watching that channel just because of that. So I wonder what he's doing now, because he can't make that affiliate money anymore off of TradeNet. I mean, he can, just not from U.S. citizens. I mean, I'm not here to make money off of people on YouTube. So like I said, I put these affiliation codes out there for you guys. If you can save some money while coming along in the process, just like I did, and so be it. These are things that I wish I had when I came through. I started on SureTrader with no discount at $4.95 a trade, and I was using the same size account. Imagine that. It was tough. So like with Scroll Trading, you saw earlier, he didn't have a code. He was paying $3.95 over there on CMEG when he just opened his account. So if I can help the guy out by giving him $2.95 trades, every time he hits that button, he saves $1. So if he hits the button 100 times a month, he saved $100. Why would I not try to help somebody out, right? That's why those codes are there. I'm not making that much money off of each and every one of you that sign up under CMEG. So it doesn't benefit me that much, but the reason I go out of my way to get those things is to help you guys, because I wish that there was someone out there that would have been doing that for me when I first started. So that's what this channel is all about. It's to help you not make the same mistakes I did. But there's one thing I've learned is that I can lead you to the water. There's a famous saying, you can lead the horse to the water, but you can't make them drink the water. I feel that way, right? I can lead you to the water, but I can't make you drink the water. So until you jump out of line and figure out how to drink that water on your own, you're probably going to not listen to me. Anyway, I can sit here and tell you over and over how to do something. I can literally give you 100% win rate strategy, and you will not use it the exact same way that I do, because you will think something's wrong with it and you will try your way. And then eventually you'll come back and realize, okay, he was right. But until you figure that out by yourself, it's just how it is, right? It's just how people process things. And I'm the same way. Brian from Intensity Stockwatch Scanners, he tells me these things, and you'd be surprised how many times he will say people don't listen, because we hear him. We want to do what he's doing. We want to have a high win rate. We want to make more money. But until you realize and have these light bulb moments on your own, you're just unfortunately not going to learn, because that's just how most people learn, right? It has to happen to you personally. Hi, all new to the channel. Use Tim's referral code for CMEG. Keegan, welcome. Love that name, by the way. If you have any questions, Keegan, feel free to jump in. That's what this is all about. I'll be happy to answer them for you. TradeNet equal no-go. Touchdown, what's up, man? Nice of you to stop by. If you guys haven't checked Touchdown Trades, I think he's newer on YouTube. I didn't go back and check your history, But he doesn't have a big subscriber base, but he is a real trader, trades some pretty big size. So if you guys are interested in that, I know a lot of people here, you have to be here for the real deal because I don't really trade big size, but he does trade some pretty good size. His videos are there to watch, and I've been enjoying them lately. I came across him a couple of weeks ago, and we've been kind of touching base with each other a little bit. We'll have to see if we can't do that little collab thing. That would see. We'll have to talk a little bit. And Constantine likes the moon too. Yeah, sorry guys, I'm not going back. You're one of the few that like the moon logo. I've been swing trading for a long time, but tried day trading the last 6 months. I was profitable first 3 months, but can't keep it going on hot streaks and blowing up on days. Well, if you're really basing it on hot days and then you're blowing up on the bad days, that comes down to risk management. So you need to step back and you need to figure out your risk management. You clearly have an issue there versus winning, right? You need, it really does. You hear it all the time. Let your winners run, cut your losers short, however you want to phrase that. But it's true. The quicker that you can understand how to make that work within your strategy, because it's going to be different for everybody's strategy, but the quicker you can cut your losers quicker than you are to the point where you're not blowing up, you should never be risking. To me personally, I think on any given trade, you should never be risking more than 3 to 5% of your overall account. So if you have a $10,000 account, you should not be risking more than $500 on any trade. So if you're risking your whole account on any given trade, then you're doing something very wrong. Just very wrong. That's all I can say. His partner Mitch is evolving. John is doing a lot of swings and futures. Yeah, I know Kim, that they were VWAP traders, or well, the main guy. I don't know which is which. I don't know if it's Mitch. I think Mitch is the guy that's always in the background, but I think John is the main guy because he always had problems with his green screen. I tried helping him out, but he didn't want my help. But yeah, I remember he was like a big VWAP trader, and he was always like very 50-50. He would be one to kind of hype up the winning trades a lot and kind of sweep the losers under the rug as much as possible. Beginner loses or breaks even all the time, scared with 1K shares of a slow moving stock, but does hit 5K winners off stream. So he's up 10K this month. LOL, you know the routine. I'm not going to get into it. I can lead you to the Dixie Cup, but can't make you drink the Kool-Aid. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, there's so many different ways to say that. Yeah, of course. Touchdown, what's your name? I think I've heard you say it on your stream. It hasn't clicked quite yet. You haven't been around long enough just yet. I try to get to know everybody that stops by. So, Keegan, can you share your hotkeys? Want to see what hotkeys traders use? Well, the ones that I use aren't typically what most traders use, and really you don't need hotkeys. Do you use DOS? I have no problem sharing my hotkeys. Which ones are you interested in? Let me go to a bigger screen so you can see them. The DT short, basically all this is when I hit the button, it's going to get me short based off of a set risk amount, which right now I just have it set to 30 because I haven't been using it. So that was back when my risk was a lot lower. So it'll take $30. It'll take high of day, and it'll give me the amount of shares based on where my entry is. So if I'm entering, so say the stock's at $10 and it drops to $9.80. So we got 20 cents between high of day, and say my risk is $100. It would give me, what's that? 50 shares? No, 50 shares. So it would give me 50 shares because if it got the high of day, it would stop me out for a $100 loss. Kevin. Yeah, that's it. I knew it's one of those ones where it was like, once I hear it, I'll know it. I remember you saying it a few times. It never stuck in my head. The chicken coop. Yep, I remember that. I also noticed you had a son. When I first started watching you, I was like, oh man, this guy's a kid. You look like you're like 18, 19. And then you said you have was he 6, you said? 5 or 6? I think you said 6. When he interrupted you in that one video. But when he came in, I was like, no way. He has a 6-year-old kid? That's crazy. Thinking of switching to DOS, now using Sterling. Yeah, I tried using Sterling for about a month, and I just didn't like it. I ended up coming back to DOS. The reason I switched to Sterling is because supposedly they had more shorts available, but I found out that it wasn't really enough to keep using them, and on top of that, they were cheaper. And then DOS, I guess when SureTrader went out of business, the wife of Guy Gentile actually owns DOS Trader. So I guess to make up for some of what they were going to lose from closing down SureTrader, they lowered their price on DOS so that more people would use it, so they could beat the prices of some of the other competitors like Sterling. And so I just went back. It was a win-win for me. I went back to DOS. I liked it better anyway, and it was cheaper. So yeah, I actually have a baby face under this beard. That's why I rock the beard, so that I don't have too much of a baby face. I just recently had shingles. They're finally almost gone. You can still kind of see like the remnants of it's actually, I can still feel it a little bit too. They were like all on the side of my face and in my beard. So I actually trimmed my beard way down just to kind of make sure I could clean that area pretty well. You're 29, huh? Dang, I would have never guessed that. I would have lost that. You'd be really good at that carnival game that they have where they guess your age. Pretty sure everybody would get your age wrong. Built a coupe too, then bought a house and realized the coupe was 2 inches wider than our gate. Ouch. Still moving. Hope I don't have to leave the chicken spine. Can't you just, well, I guess it's probably pretty big. Can't you go up and over? Be my first instinct on how to fix the problem. One of my old coworkers, he had a bunch of chickens. I love eggs. I eat eggs pretty much every day for breakfast. And that was like one of my favorite things. He would bring in fresh eggs with the dirt still on them and everything. Don't have to put them in the fridge. Crack those babies open. Oh, miss those eggs. He'd give me a whole carton for $2. Miss those. But yeah, anybody have any questions, concerns? Everybody, again, thanks for stopping by. I'm not leaving just yet. Just saying thank you for stopping by. Hit that like button. Again, not really the big YouTuber. I am getting better at it though. I like to think that I put some good effort into my videos. If you haven't watched my video from today, I feel that was the most effort I've ever put into a video. So I'm very curious of the feedback. So go watch that thing and give me some feedback down in the comments section. Let me know what you guys liked, didn't like, all that good stuff. I'm always looking to get better at it, but it's just YouTube is not my primary focus. I like doing these live streams because it really helps me kind of get to know you guys, but as well learn from you guys. As much as you guys can learn from me, I can still learn from you. You guys ask me a question I don't know the answer to. I say this all the time. I have to go find that answer, and that means I learned something. So I absolutely love the idea of that. I don't know why my nose is getting all stuffy. I'm trading with Thinkorswim and thinking of making the switch to DOS. My account is less than 6K. Will commissions eat me alive? No, I don't believe so. I started with a $5,000 account on SureTrader when it was $5 a trade, and I was doing okay. I was about break even, a little bit less than break even. But when I switched to CMEG, it made a big difference because at the time it was I went from $4.95 down to $2.95. So it was $2 every ticket I was saving. So 100 tickets, that's $200 every single month. But now you can get $3.95 trades normally with CMEG. So I can still save you that $1 if you use the promo code in the description, because you get the $2.95 trades. $2.95 trades, it's not that bad. I mean, it really depends on the size. You know, Jared, you're in a much better situation than most. I have people coming to me, I have $1,000. Will CMEG work for me? And you can ask him, you can ask a bunch of the people that are regulars. I always tell them no. You're better off staying with someone like Thinkorswim, using a cash account until you can save up or build up your account. I think 3,000 is usually what I say is the minimum to come to somewhere like CMEG, because you have to be able to withstand those fees. You have to be able to withstand the commissions. People don't understand that it is part of the game, but if you want to become a real trader, you have to trade at a place where you have commissions. It's just, you want that direct to market access. You want that execution speed. You want all that stuff. With something, a place like Thinkorswim, you're just not going to get that. You're not going to get that with the new E-Trade. And there's plenty of videos out there. Ever since they went to the free trading, it's kind of proof. And the sad part is with Thinkorswim, they didn't change anything. They were charging $6.95 a trade before everybody went to free trades. And when they went to free trades, they didn't change anything. So whatever they're doing now, they were doing before anyway. That's pretty sad if you ask me. I'm off to watch a movie with the girlfriend. Nice to stop by and say what's up. I enjoy the channel. Remember, size doesn't matter. Consistency is everything. I could not agree more. Like I said, I was watching a YouTuber earlier, and he said he went from a big account to a small account to relate to his audience a little bit more. And he was saying because he had a smaller account, he had to trade differently. Well, guess what? That's completely false. You should be trading the exact same way. Your strategy should not change regardless of the size of your account. It's just the share size will change, but the actual overall strategy should not change. So always keep that in mind. You need real tools. COS doesn't cut it. I totally agree with you. I'm just saying, if you have anything less than $3,000, go work a part-time job. Go save up on the side until you get $3,000 and then come trade at CMEG. But if you have $1,000, don't just throw it on the CMEG because you're just going to lose it. Think about it. The platform fee is $125 for DOS. So right there, that's 12.5% of your account if you have $1,000 account that you just tossed away on platform fees. Like, come on. The ECM fees, I don't get those. I mean, I get those. I don't understand why they're different for everybody. I don't know. CMEG has some weird kind of system. All I can say is when you're using CMEG, especially if you're using my referral, I know that it's for the smart route. And the smart route is if you use the limit, market, or stop. Those are the three routes that you can use because it'll use the lamp route or the smart route or whatever it calls it. But if you come down here and you try to use any of these normal regular routes like the NASDAQ, the NYSE, if you try to use those routes, you're going to get charged the $3.95 and you're going to get charged like the normal ECN fees and all those other little small fees that come along with using the direct to market access. So always keep that in mind. If you want the $2.95 trades, and I've never had an issue with the ECN fees have always been the same. It's $2.95 trades up to 1,000 shares. And then anything over 1,000, it is 0.005 per share. Or is it 0.007? I think it's 0.005. Yeah, it's 0.005. And then, so it would be, for 1,000 shares, it would be $5. For 2,000 shares, it would be $10. And then for the ECN fees, I'm pretty sure it's 0.0025 per share, regardless. So I don't see why that should change. So for 1,000 shares, it would be $2.50, if that makes sense. For 100 shares, it would be 25 cents. So I don't see how that should change for anybody. So I don't, but there have been people that have, and it turned out that they were using the different routes and their ECM fees were much different. And that was why. So keep that in mind. But yeah, Jared, I totally agree with you. And that's why I recommend like the ISW scanners versus trade ideas. But that's, again, the ISW scanners, they have everything just like Trade Ideas does. Like you can see pretty much, like you have your gapper scanners, you have the high of day scanners, you have all those scanners, but what Trade Ideas doesn't have is the i3 scanners, and they are amazing. They show you these types of moves over and over and over again, and they're just amazing. You see them all day, and it's amazing. I show you guys Brian's trades in the live stream a lot. The dude kills it every single day. He wakes up, he uses his own scanners that he built, the Intensity Stockwatch scanners, and that's all he trades every single day, and he kills it. One of the best scanners on there that he loves is the Bear Scan Watch List. That thing is amazing. It pretty much the goal behind those is to find stocks that had days kind of like Oxy where it has an up day and then gaps up a little bit, or doesn't gap up, it kind of goes back down. So that's actually a bad example. Let's see if I can find one real quick. I'm probably not going to be able to find one, but basically, like take Oxy for example. This is a good example. End of day, it can be a good example. So had a big up day, comes up and it starts to gap up. Well, then on Monday, it'll start to gap down, it'll come back over, and it'll sit around 21 going into the open. So basically, the bear scan watch list will have that up there, and it'll show you that it's priming for what we call a hangover. And basically, a hangover is saying, okay, had a great night out, and now the next day we're going to have a hangover, and the thing's going to dump at the market open. That's pretty much what the bear scan watch list finds. Every once in a while, you'll get the pop out of the gate, and then look for the dump, but that's pretty rare. A lot of times you just get, like, you'll see a lot of stocks where they just dump right out of the gate, and that's usually they're right off the bear scan watch list. And at 2K subs, we're getting really close. I think we're at like 1.84, 1.85. I don't remember exactly. But at 2K subs, we're going to be giving away a team membership for at least 2 weeks. I don't know if we're going to do more than that, but for at least 2 weeks of the ISW team package. So definitely look forward to that if you want to maybe try to wait and take a test drive with them. But they are definitely, yeah, it's Kevin's favorite, I think, is the bear scan. He loves using that thing. I eventually want to play those hangovers, but I'm just doing what I know works for now, just to stay consistent and build up my account to the point where I can feel like I'm in the clear, per se. Third time's a winner. I don't know. I don't know if I should let you be eligible to win. Plus, didn't you say you're about to sign up on your own anyway? I probably won't hit 2K subs by that time anyway. So what are we at? 1837. So yeah, right around 1.84 is where we're getting. We're getting close. We're getting there. We're definitely not a channel that's gonna just blow up because we're not posting big numbers. You know, we're not flashy. We're just the truth, right? Since February 8th, I think it was a little bit before that I started the channel. But since I've started the channel, I've literally been here every single day. I've shown you every single day that I've traded. Every single trade that I've taken, real or demo, I've shown you. No high. There is not another channel like me out there. 100%. It's not out there. It doesn't exist. There is no other channel out there that can prove to you 100% what they have done every single day. It's just not out there. So it is one thing I take pride in. And that's the whole point of this, is as I grow and I earn more credibility to actually tell you what I believe to be true in the stock market, and hopefully teach you guys to not make the same mistakes I did, that people can back test me. Is a perfect word for the subject. You can back test me and realize that I'm legit. There's literally no question. There's absolutely no question, right? I've never given you a chance to question me. And that's what I love about what I've done so far. That was kind of the whole goal, was to make sure that there was never that question. So yeah, the balls, I actually just drank my last one yesterday. I'm going to have to order some more. I got to wait for the free shipping though. They always find a reason to give free shipping. You should never pay for shipping if you order balls by the case. They have free shipping all the time. You just got to sign up to their newsletter. They use like every holiday as an excuse. They use any excuse they can get to give you free shipping. I tried to get sponsored by them so many times. I guess they just don't like me enough. That's why you're here, for the balls. I know that's not what you meant. I just had to say it though. That was funny. I know. I saw that, Kim. I appreciate that. It's very frustrating that they don't even respond. Like I feel like, yeah, I'm a smaller YouTuber, but at the same time, like, come on. I still got some influence here, right? You guys consider me an influence? Am I an influencer? Let me get rid of these lines. I need to change the color of them, but I actually like them being yellow because it's easy. It's easy to really pick them out in the moment. By the way, these headphones, if you guys can get your hands on the Sony M3s, they're amazing. I have the fan on and I can feel it, but if I go like this, that's what it would sound like. that's not what it would sound like with the other headphones, but I could definitely hear it. I literally, with these on, I cannot hear the fan. I can't hear it at all. It's crazy. All right, Kim, enjoy the weekend. That's the other cool thing about this. I love that it's the last little dose of just talking to you guys, talking about the market, just talking about everything in general. Gets it out of our system a little bit, right? It allows us to go into the weekend just with getting it all out there. I think that's really what I want to really turn this into is come here, get everything out so that over the weekend you just don't have to think about trading, even though we're all going to think about trading, right? That's all we think about. But I love that this is kind of our little release before the weekend, so we can kind of focus on family and all the important stuff that comes with the weekend. James, what's up, man? All green week for you or for me? I was all green. Were you all green as well? You tell me that you're all green, I'll give you a high five right now. I'm going to get out of here unless we get some more questions. All green? Bam. High five. Pew. Love it. Love it. Love hearing that, guys. Seriously. The success of others. There's so many people in the stock market that if I can see people succeeding, it's a beautiful thing, right? Of course, I want to make money. I want to succeed, but there's really no reason. It reminds me of that scene from The Wolf of Wall Street where he's talking to McConaughey, and he says, but if we can make money for our clients at the same time, it's a win-win, right? Everybody wins. McConaughey looks at him. He's like, nope. It's like, the idea is to move money from your client's pocket and put it into your pocket. I love that movie. It cracks me up. But yeah, it's advantageous. I want you guys to be green just like me. I have no reason to root against you. Like I was saying earlier, James, our shares that we're putting in and out of the market are literally nothing to these big guys. So rookie numbers. So true. 11 o'clock, I am going to shoot to get out of here. So we got 7 minutes. Get your questions in. If we get a bunch of questions, good conversation going, I will obviously go past 11 o'clock. But if we don't get anything going, that's going to be my cutoff point. I'm going to get out of here, go get some sleep. I actually took a nap earlier today, and I'm still super tired. So I definitely need to catch up on some sleep. I'm getting super excited about getting the channel back, like with some good content. I'm getting better at Premiere Pro, as you guys could see from today. Like I said, go watch the video from today. Let me know down in the comment section below what you think of it, good or bad. I'm always looking to get better, but I feel like I'm getting there, getting some higher quality type stuff going on here. And yeah, trading's going well. Editing's getting better. We're learning every day, right? If we can become better every single day, one way or another, that's what we're looking for. It's all we want. We just want to be better every single day. Brian said it today too. Every trade is one trade closer to being a successful trader overall. You always got to think of that, one step at a time. Excuse me. Oh, there's that cap. I was looking for this. My son hit it white on white. He put it on the top there. I had to put those in a baggie. I'm trying to... I don't really have any good plans for the weekend. I was just got to cut the grass, but it just thunderstormed yesterday and today, so the grass was kind of wet today. Now it's going to be wet tomorrow, but it's supposed to be nice Saturday and Sunday. So probably Sunday I'll end up cutting the grass. I've been doing pretty good at it. It's looking really good, and it's only spring. I can't imagine in the fall when you actually start to take care of it in the fall. Apparently that's the best time to do all this stuff, so I'm pretty excited now. Yeah. Do you mostly short the big green runners? I don't see you buying into bleeding stocks much. Yeah, my edge is, if you want to go back earlier in the stream, I actually pretty much broke down my strategy. I don't know exactly what time it was, but I basically, just to give you the condensed version, I always like to look for previous resistance, whether it's pre-market, intraday, wherever it is. I look for big candles on the top of those. I like the extensions away from previous resistance. That's where I like to get in. I always say the stronger the move, the weaker the trend. And typically you will always see a move try to come back down and use that area, that previous resistance as support. And that's usually where we're looking to take our final profits. And this one got a little bit away from. Let me show you the better example from today, where we didn't actually get the full move, but as you can see, it did come down and test that previous resistance from pre-market here on TGI. To me, it's a higher probability play. Since you weren't here earlier, I can show you. Man, that thing gets me every time. It's like right in the way. We went over the numbers from since we started doing the 112 again. And as you can see, they don't lie. And we're sitting at a 96.43% win rate. And I was saying the only loss that we have was here on CAR. And the reason it was a loss is because we hit the wrong button down here. We were supposed to hit the 75% button. We hit the 50% button. So when this came up and stopped us out, we had 50% of our position left where we should have only had 25%. So this should have been a green trade. And technically, since we started 112 again back on May 8th, we should be at 100% win rate. So can't really complain with how we're doing. It seems to be working out quite well. I don't like bleeding stocks. Now, I will trade the occasional descending triangle, but it's usually based off of an intense move anyway. So I'm going to trade it on the same kind of chart up here somewhere. But yeah, you won't see me really trade bleeding stocks. I was just talking a little bit before about possibly playing hangover type stocks, but that'll be in the future, where you kind of look for stocks that made a big move the day before, and then they're starting to kind of gap down just a little bit, and you look for them to kind of bleed off into the open. Have you tried to dip by the 100% gap close when it happens? I've had good luck doing that. I did that way back in the day, just not really something that I was very good at. I got very emotional trying to trade those. Yeah, I know what strategy you're talking about. That's the one cool thing about not finding ISW right away that really I feel was good for me is before ISW from August 2018 until February 2019, I was like everybody else. I was on YouTube watching Ross, watching Clay, watching all those guys do their thing, and I wanted to be just like them. I paper traded for a week and a half. I threw $5,000 into account, tried to be like Ross. First day, I lost $1,300. So I lost over 20% of my account in the first day. And I was like, holy crap. It's not as easy as paper trading. You get very emotional very quick. Things don't happen like you think they're going to happen. And then if I could go back and start all over, knowing what I know now, it's crazy to think of how silly it was to be trading the way that I was with that kind of size and everything. I was jumping in 1,500 shares right away on a stock that could move $1 at a time. And it was just silly. But that was the first thing I saw on YouTube. That was the first thing. And he's very good at marketing. He's very good at saying, hey, you can turn $500 into $1 million, all that crap. But, and obviously it's true. He did it, but under some different circumstances than a new trader just kind of coming in and doing it on his own. So what I was getting at is I tried every strategy that I could find on YouTube from those 5, 6, 7 months. I was trying everything. I was trying just support and resistance, gap and go, buying the dip, just everything, anything I could find, alligator indicators, Bollinger Bands, everything. I could sit here and we could go through any kind of strategy that you throw at me, and I've probably traded it. I know about it. And over time, when I found ISW, and I kind of learned the 112 strategy, I basically implemented everything else I had learned from all the other strategies that I learned, and kind of put it all together. And that's kind of what we're fine tuning even to now. So over a year later. And hey, it's working. So I can't complain. You risk 0.5% per trade. That's pretty good. That means you have a good set risk. Well, I mean, if you're playing the dip buy at the gap close, the closer you get to the gap close with your dip buy, right, you can have a set risk, which is good. If you have a set risk strategy and you're good at it, then that's perfect. You should always, your risk management, I preach it here on the channel all the time. It's definitely one of the more important things. You need to have risk management. Ooh, good back crack. All right, any other questions? Yes, no, maybe so. There's 13 of you here. James is the only one talking. Feel free to ask away. I'll give you guys now. I always like to give it a little bit because I know the latency's there a little. So see if anybody jumps in with a question by 11:02. ISW 112 strategy. So ISW, it's basically you're taking your entries and you're scaling into a trade. So perfect example. Let me pull up a VRML chart. I don't always get the 112, but that's the strategy. It's designed to give you that room to add into a position. Come on, there we go. So VRML, you see the 1, 1, 2. So what that's saying is, say this was 100 shares on the first entry. Second entry would also be 100 shares, so they're equal, 1 and 1. And then you would hit the top for 200 shares. So 1, 1, and then double 2. So what that's doing is it's bringing your average up each time as you're scaling into this trade. And the reason behind that is, so TGI could have been a good example because we almost got to add up over 12, is say it's making a nice intense move. You really like the chart. And sometimes you're just going to be early, right? Like there on VRML, we were early. So the point of having the 112 is if it keeps running against you, you can add in and then you can hit it again. So that way you're giving it room basically to work for you. Man, I am so sorry. I don't know if that's super loud. I'm trying to turn away, but my throat is like, I don't think I do have a little bit in here. I don't know if the fan's doing that or what. But it gives you room to add in. And the reason I say ISW is Intensity Stockwatch. So all of my plays come right off the Intensity Stockwatch scanners, which if you want on my YouTube page under, I think it should be right at the top. When you go to the main page, you'll see one that's for the Intensity Stockwatch scanners. I go through it. And if you go to the very end, you can kind of see some live examples. But every single one of my trades since February 8th of 2019 have come right off of those scanners. I don't wake up. I don't do any work in the morning. I don't do any of that crap. This morning, I sat down at 9:20 and I ended up getting these 3 trades. And a lot of times that's what happens because of the kids anyway. I'm usually dealing with them all morning. So I don't have time anyways to really sit down and like look up stocks, look up their fundamentals and all that stuff. I just trade price action. I am legit a price action trader. And all of my trades come right off the scanner. So I love it. You're missing the blood red moon. Is there one? Let me go look. It was storming here anyway, so I don't even know if I could see it. Go look out back. Yeah, it's behind the clouds. I can't see it. Yeah, Keegan, I'm not trying to defer the question. I just think that it'd be much easier to kind of go watch some areas where I really kind of break it down a little bit better versus me kind of sitting here trying to explain it all at once. If by watching those videos you don't understand anything, feel free to ask me questions anytime. Seriously, there's a Discord down in the description below. I'm it literally comes up on my phone. I'm usually sitting at my computer most of the time anyway. I'll be more than happy to answer any questions you have there as well. So always keep that in mind. I'm always available one way, shape, form, whatever you want to. Yeah, of course. Like I said, that was really the core concept of it, right? You just you get an intense move right off the intensity stock watch scanners, and then you look for an entry. You get an entry. If it keeps going, you can look to add, and then if it keeps going again, right? The stronger the move, the weaker the trend. So that's what we're looking. We're looking to add into this as it's going against this, looking to bring our average up, and we're building up some size, so that when the strong move becomes a weak trend and it breaks down, right? We're going to have big size with an average up closer to the top. And we look to start covering down into where our first entry was, or, you know, whatever your plan is at that point. Everybody's going to have a different take profit plan. So it's kind of hard to just tell you what mine is. And then, cause I actually use a lot of feel. I'll wait for the drop to start happening. Sometimes I'll use some key areas. I'll use the price action a lot. So it's really different for everybody, but I mean, that is the core concept. You scale in 1, 1, 2, and then you take profit as it comes back down. It's really that simple when you break it down, or well, when you're trying to explain it on the surface. But obviously you can break it down into a lot more detail. But like I said, if you have any questions after that or watching the other videos on it, feel free. I could talk about this forever, and that's kind of why I don't want to start talking about it right now, because we'll be here for another hour, which I wouldn't typically mind, but I am really tired, so I'm trying to catch up on some sleep. But got 3 more minutes, 11:10. See, I don't mind continuing to go as long as we're getting like some good questions. I feel that I would much rather, I always say this too, and it's not something that really bothers me, but it kind of bothers me. But sometimes I'll get some new traders that come in and they say, what's VWAP? Or, you know, like, what's this? What, like, simple questions that they could have easily Googled themselves. And the fact that you said, I will watch more before asking, that shows me that you are not one of those people, because you actually want to show initiative and figure this thing out, right? I can tell that about you already just from that one thing that you said. Where some people will come in here and they'll be like, what's VWAP? What's this? What's that? And it's like, seriously, man, like, these are the simple questions. Like, you should be able to find these things on your own. I want you to come to me with the hard questions, right? I want us to be able to dive deep. I don't want you to be asking me these surface questions. So good on you is what I'm trying to get at. Keep it up. I'm not trying to roast anybody. It just bothers me a little bit. Speaking the truth, like I always do. All right, I need to save this because I didn't actually save. And I do want to change this too. What do I want to rename this? I'm going to call it the UK strat. Which I can get into that a little bit. Actually, what was the ticker that did that today? Was it TGI? No, it was one of the ones I played. It was GCI. Yeah, I'm gonna explain this to you real quick after I change it down here. $60 or $50. Let me put that in there too. Don't you beep at me. Actually, I want to change this too. Since we're scaling up, I need to actually make this realistic. I don't really use this button, but I need to have it in here just in case. I forget, somebody asked me for some hotkeys, but they never responded which ones they were interested in. I don't remember who it was. Jared, yeah. If you go back, ever since I started this live stream on Friday nights, I've been here every Friday, and I think I missed one because of vacation, and I think I actually missed 2 when I got the shingles. I couldn't do it. I actually started getting the real bad part of shingles on Friday night's live stream that week. It was that next day I woke up and I had the blisters all over my face, and the pain was, it was so bad. This is over a month later, I still have the pain from the nerve in my face from it. I do not recommend shingles. It's horrible. All right, let me save this real quick. Let me go over here. Oh, that's right. I wanted to explain that strategy, but let me save this real quick. Save. And I said it was GCI. So you got them from the stream. Now, I didn't get them from the stream, but I had already had them. Like, the pain had already started, but then the actual physical shingles that you could see, those came out on Saturday morning when I woke up. Well, I think, didn't I show you guys a picture? Let me see. Do I have it? Well, it still itches too. Oh yeah, here it is. Not trying to gross you guys out or anything, but yeah, this is what they look like. Look at that. Ugh. Yummy. They were like, the worst one was you can barely see it here, but this is why I trimmed my beard down. It was right in here, and it was basically like this one, but like really down in my beard, and it was so bad. And they were actually in my ear. I had one on my tongue. I don't think I have that picture on my phone, or I have that picture on my phone. I don't have it on my computer. Let me see. Yeah, it was like turning my tongue like a different color. And like you can see the one on the corner of my tongue. It was one of the most painful things I've ever experienced in my life. I definitely do not recommend it. 360p is okay. Yeah, I had pain for a week before the rash came out. Thought it was kidney stones at first. Yeah, that was the thing. I started just getting like, I thought, because I had a root canal. Not recent, but the pain was still there from the root canal for a while, like 5-6 months after. And I thought that it was that acting up again, because that's kind of where most of the pain was. But then it started happening like behind my eye, like down here, like under like my chin bone. Like it was just like this whole side of my face. So then I started, actually that Friday during the day, I started looking up like what that could be. And there was all kinds of things it could be. And then the next morning I woke up with those blisters all over my face. And that's when I was like, okay, I need to go to the doctor. So I went in and they were like, shingles. And I was like, oh, okay. And it makes sense because it attacks the nerve. And this nerve that it was attacking, it branches behind the eye, down into your mouth, down, like it's, if you go look it up, it branches like all on your side of the face. Shingles or MTSI? Definitely shingles. MTSI is just money. Shingles is my health and pain, and that's the thing, is it was chronic. I didn't sleep for weeks. I mean, it was those 2 weeks I didn't sleep. And if I did, it was like an hour, 2 hours at a time. It was horrible. It was the worst, literally the worst thing in my life. I've never, even when I pulled my calf muscle and I couldn't walk for like 6-7 months, that was not worse than shingles. It was just, ugh. Yeah, I actually just went from, I used to start my streams at 10:30. I actually originally started them at 9:30. I don't know what the thumbnails that I have up says right now. I think it says 10:30. But I mean, I used to do 9:30, and then I realized that more people kind of came around the 10:30 area, so I started it at 10:30. But then I'm starting to realize that's just too late for me. I don't like being up until 1 o'clock in the morning sometimes. So I was like, you know what? I'm just going to go back to 9. And hey, if people want to stop by, they can. And if not, then I'm sorry. But yeah, Jared, I appreciate you stopping by. Yeah, don't get shingles, guys. If you've never had the chicken pox, you can't get shingles. Just FYI. But if you've had the chicken pox, I feel sorry for you because you still have the chance to get shingles. And that is why I'm glad that they now have chickenpox vaccine and stuff like that, because hopefully my kids will never get it. And it's very contagious. So like while I had shingles for 3 weeks, I couldn't touch my wife, my kids, family. I couldn't touch anybody because I didn't want to risk the kids getting chickenpox. I didn't want to give the shingles to my wife. It just and on top of that, you're just in pain the entire time. I still wake up every morning and take 4 200 milligram ibuprofens. Like it still hurts every morning. And then throughout the day, usually somewhere after lunch, before dinner, I'm usually taking 800 more. It still hurts. It's ridiculous. What's up? What's up, son? How you doing, man? I saw your Twitter post. You've been killing it. Absolutely killing it, my man. So proud of you. There's Tom learning the day trade, guys. He I don't know. You can just call him Tom now. He's not learning the day trade. He knows how to day trade. And I don't even have to say learning day trade his YouTube channel because he doesn't do it anymore. Oh, I'm cheered up. Have you seen my stats lately, Tom? Killing it. Went back to my proven system. I'm going to put a course out. Sell it for $1,000 a pop. It's just a joke. I do eventually want to put a course out, but for free. Just to guide new traders in the right direction right from the get. I do want to do that. That is a goal of mine, but I need to master my trading myself. I want that to be a project in the future. Hey man, how are you? Listen, how are you dealing with taxes from CMEG? Are they sending your profits to IRS? No, they don't. It's actually on you to claim all of that. So when I withdraw from CMEG, I take that money and I usually take half of it and I put it into a different account for taxes. And when taxes come around, I now have an accountant that I've been using because it's all very confusing to me. But you take your statements from CMEG and you basically give them to your accountant, or if you're doing your own taxes, you basically put that information in yourself. So just because it's overseas money doesn't mean you don't have to claim it. And then if you have over $10,000 in your account at any given time, you have to fill out what's called I think it's called a FABA, F-A-B-A, I think. And what that is just a way for the IRS to know that you have over $10,000 in an account that's not inside the United States, that's outside the United States. So you don't have to like do anything with it, but that's just a form that you have to fill out if you're over $10,000 in an account. So I actually personally this year have been trying to keep it under $10,000 so that I don't have to worry about doing that, but I don't think it matters. It's literally just a way for them to know where your money is. Robert, this is DOS platform, DOS Trader platform. Yo, I'll buy it. Oh, not 1K. Well, good. It's not going to be 1K. It's going to be free eventually. I don't ever plan on really putting out a course. I do want to do my best to help out people. I think in the future, like I'm talking like 5 years from now, after I've proven that I can make this work and actually make a living from it, I would instead of having a chat room full of 100 people or trying to sell a course, I would much rather somebody come in and maybe like 1 or 2 people at a time and actually try to mentor them, like give my full focus to 1 or 2 people. I would rather do that than to try to like just have a chat room where people are coming in for alerts and all that stuff. I want to do things the right way. I've always, if you guys know me by now on my channel, my goal is to be as truthful as possible, as transparent as possible, and to help out in the best way possible. Opening up a chat room for 100 people, that would literally be just to make money off you guys. I give you the alerts on the trades I'm making. If you make money, you do. If you don't, you don't, whatever. I'm giving you the alerts, right? I'm answering questions here and there, whatever, right? I'm giving you your money's worth. But if I could really dedicate my time, my extra time that I have to just 1 or 2 people and actually build them into successful traders, I would feel much better about that. Because if you have a chat room full of 100 people, you're really not helping all those people. It's almost impossible. And don't even get me started if you have a chat room full of like 10, like a couple thousand people. What's that? Jonathan, what are you doing? Appreciate that, man. I didn't even know you were still here. Cray cray. I'm sure you're actually working on other things and you just have me on in the background because that's how you roll. Sure, for sure. That's a great idea. Yeah, I agree. Like I said, I always try to think outside the box. I try to think what would have been best for me when I first started. Things that weren't there when I first started, those are the kind of things I want to put out there for the new traders. So if there's somebody that's offering a free course for people that are just starting, just to lead them in the right direction, like just to get all the things that they should know when they first start out of the way instead of having to search for it on their own. That's what I'm after for something like that. And again, having a chat room full of 100 people, there's no way that can be more effective than taking 1 or 2 people and like really trying to mentor them. Like to me, that would be much more worth it to me because I would feel much more self-fulfilling as well, knowing that I can make successful traders out of these people. Mentoring is 10,000 times more effective. Yes, sir. You too, son. We'll have to catch up. I always say that. Well, we do catch up here and there, but we should sit down and actually get on a call and catch up at some point. I miss your voice. I've risen from the dead. Just finished prototyping for the upcoming races in Circuit. Yeah, buddy. If you guys want to check out Circuit's live stream, I'm assuming he's still having it tomorrow. I believe it's at 9:30. Correct me, Jonathan, if I'm wrong. I want to say it's at 9:30. Jeff, what's up, man? Nice of you to stop by. Jeff's been killing it lately as well. Right out of the ISW team room. Yeah, Jeff, give everybody your ISW review. 9:30. See, I knew it was 9:30. I was going to say something else about something, and I forgot. Whoops. Oh, the strategy. Real quick, I wanted to explain the strategy. So this UK strat, you guys are probably wondering why I changed it from DT triangle. So this UK strat is basically looking for a fake out breakout. That's all it is. So comes up, makes a high, starts the form, and you can do this on the lows too. There was one today, overstock. That's right. We'll look at that one. Comes up, tries to go high of day again, fakes out. Right as it's coming back down into this range. Right. Remember how we said we have supply zones? So that high of day was clearly a resistance sitting here at 330. For some reason, I can't get it to click on the 330. It's like close enough. So goes up through, tries to break up 344, comes back down. Your entry would be right there as it comes back down into this range, risking off high of day. So that's what this button would do. It would give me a $50 risk based off high of day. So it would give me the amount of shares I need when I hit the button based off of high of day being my stop. And then you basically just look for this move down because it was a fake out breakout, and you can scale out, do whatever you want. But that's literally the strategy. Just to give you another example, OSTK kind of did the same thing. Where was it? Right here. Oops. Scroll over just a little bit. Why is it not letting me? It's kind of weird. Let's just do this. There we go. So formed a support base here. Pokes through, gets bought up. As it comes back up into this range, you jump in. As it comes back through that 2080 area, or 2079, 2080 area, and then use the low day as your stop, right? That's all it is. It's literally, obviously this button wouldn't work for a long, but you can just reverse it. But that's literally the trade. And I call it the UK strat because the UK spread betting guy, I think his name's Tom, but that's kind of one of the strategies that he uses. And I've been paying attention to it a lot. And a lot of it's based off of the strat that I use anyway. So if I were to get faked out on something like GCI, like say I got into this and I had to stop out like the remaining part of, like if I was holding part of my position here and I got stopped out and I realized it was a fake out, I could jump in looking to start a whole new trade based off the fact that was a fake out. That's all. It's just something to kind of add to the arsenal, and I've been paying attention to it. So, and it's basically the same principle as a descending triangle. So we'll see if we ever use it, but yeah, that's pretty much all it is. We are like 2 likes away from 20. Really? Nice. I didn't even notice we were that close. I wasn't paying attention to it. Now all we need is 35 viewers, but I'm getting off of here. So ISW rules, chat rules for us team members too. Yeah. Having the guys to talk to is always a fun time. But I guess we'll do 2 minutes. I think that's going to be my thing. When we get to the end, I'll give you guys 2 minutes to ask any new questions. If we don't get anything good, I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. Appreciate y'all stopping by. Hit that like button. Subscribe to if you're new. Name's Tim, Volatility Trading, all the good stuff. If you have any questions, I have a Discord down below. Feel free to jump in there. Always available to answer some questions when I'm awake, that is. I always do my best to answer. Always stop by Friday night live streams. We live stream every morning, 9:20 to about 10:30, 11 o'clock. Always put out my videos afterwards. That's the thing. I was saying it earlier. There is no other channel like this one. I'm not trying to promote my channel. I'm just saying, if you are looking for a channel where you can come to it every single time and you know that you're not being lied to, 100% truthful, 100% transparent, this is it. There's no other channel that is as transparent as I am. It's non-existent. I literally show you everything every day. No other channel does that. Just saying. Got 45 seconds. Get those questions in. Or you'll have to wait until you join the Discord and ask me. I was going to say you'll have to wait until Monday morning live stream, but I guess that's not really the truth. Ooh, good back crack. Jonathan, I think we both know what that $10 was for. Just paying me in advance. I want some Panda Express. Better be sitting there waiting. Double orange chicken fried rice. All right, guys. Well, I'm going to get out of here. I appreciate all your support. As always, feel free to, again, ask me any questions if you think of them after the stream is over. Discord, Twitter, leave them down in the comment section. I always respond to those as well. And have a great weekend. I'll see you guys Monday morning. Peace.